Hello, I'm Glenn W. Hunter. With me is Shor Denny, our subject matter expert, and we are the three C's of social emotional learning: community, collaboration, communication. And today we're going to talk about, well, a couple of things. The relaxing environment that we're having with regards to people being vaccinated and going back into society. But more important, not just relaxing those mores, if you will, but the fact that we still need to learn to relax and breathe. Relax and breathe. So, what we have, Shore, as you could see, is a sense where we're getting some of our liberties back and we're having violence, heightened violence, road rage. People are starting to re-engage society and it's kind of messy at times. What do you see as the driver behind this messiness as we get our liberties back? What do you say?
Well, it's normal. This is normal. So we as humans have been locked up for quite a while now, and we're all able to come back out and get into society, and we're kind of getting oversynthesized while we're out there, right? So when we're out there and you start getting you're excited, you're out, you're getting ready to do something. Some of us it can be like even euphoric, that I'm out. I mean, I did that the first few times. But with that, we have to remember that other people are doing that. Other people are oversynthesized, and not everyone's mental wellness is in the same place, right? So a lot of people are overstressed. They're coming out, they are being oversynthesized, and then that stress turns into aggression and violence. So then we start seeing the things that are happening in society. So it's normal. We should be told. I think there should be something on a PSA or something out there going, alert, alert, you are going to be oversynthesized, alert, so that we will stop and breathe when we start getting aggressive.
I like the idea of you saying making sure we're communicating that. And really, we have the tools and the mental capacity now to accept that kind of information from a lot of different sources. So, I mean, the penetration's there for that to be a very viable solution. But now that upon achieving that, okay, everyone's over hypersensitized, what tools do we have at our disposal from a social standpoint to cope with this current reality so that now that we know that we're oversensitized, we're ready to start managing that as individuals? What
What
tools
we
are at
need
our disposal?
is we need to take deep breaths. We need to understand when you're getting ready to go out into the world to say, okay, I am going to be out here. There are going to be other people out here that might be a little aggressive, a little more oversensitized, and me myself, I might get that way. And just understand that this is normal, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
So, if I'm understanding you clearly, Shore, in coping with this new current reality, we do, in fact, need additional tools that are going to be brought in, not just by individuals, but by society as a whole.
Yes, we are. We're going to need tools. We really should have some PSAs going around. We should have alerts. There should probably be some road signs saying breathe, because we are all in this together. And this is across the world, not just in our neighborhood. This is happening everywhere, where we as human beings, the human animal that we are reacting to being locked up for so long. Sometimes I think of the people that we put in jail, and what is their mental state when they come out? I've just been locked up basically for a year, right? And I'm not coming out of it the way I went in, right? My mental state is a little more stressed. Again, I'm being aggressive when I'm out on the streets. So it makes me think that humans were not meant, number one, to be locked up. Number one, let's just say that, to be locked down. It's not good for any of our mental states. And now that we know that, we should use it as common knowledge and common information. Oh, girl, you're with somebody and they start getting agitated. Go, it's just take some breaths, girl. Take some breaths. It's gonna be okay. And we need to be talking to each other like that instead of going, yeah, look what they did, and and engaging in and escalating that aggression.
Yeah. As you're talking about escalating that aggression, it seems to be a common human reaction, but I think at some point we have to be better than that. I mean, all of us are coming out of this pandemic, this literally once in a century experience. Only now we have a whole lot more technology that's accelerating it and just making it louder for us. And then you think about how compact our communities are, particularly here in Southern California, the Inland Empire. There's a lot of people in tight spaces. So the result that we see is we're experiencing a lot of community aggression, the road rage, the domestic violence. Goodness, we've been experiencing snipers in the last week or so. So when you think about being oversensitized in that environment, sure, who do you call? Where's the help going to come from?
Well, since that's a good question, because our policies and our systems are not set up for prevention, right? We are in a police state. We have a police mind. So we think that the police should do everything, but I think that we should look at the job description of a police officer and see literally what is it they're supposed to do, because I don't believe that they are there for human factors, right? For human things. They are there to arrest. So did you break the law? That we take you in, and process you and hold you, and that's what police do. But we now see there are some mental health providers that are now doing ride-alongs with the police. So when a domestic violence call, say, comes in, that mental health provider or support professional is there to help in that scenario, to help de-escalate those peoples in a human way with a mental health or trauma-informed, perspective and tactic. And then the police officer can be waiting in the car or doing what they do, waiting for this to happen. Now, at the end of the day, what police do is, again, they arrest people who break the law. So if one of those people who are now de-escalated and calm and able to talk normally, now that if they broke the law, the policeman can come in now and safely and non-violently arrest that person and do what the police do. But we need to make sure that, again, the policies, the perception of what is going on needs to be flipped. We do not need to be thinking of when somebody is aggressive, call the police. That's not the way we should be thinking. We should be thinking when someone is aggressive, who can come and de-escalate? And can I, by not escalating myself, right? Now, if I see somebody going off, I have a responsibility, or I have some choices or options right then that I can make, right? I can get in it with them and, make it explode, or help it explode. I can be one to step away or, to not do anything at all, that bystander. And I can be one to try to, if I'm involved, try to back out and de-escalate as I'm exiting, right? Not getting in it and being aggressive with the person. When you call 211, it's a problem solving. Right now, the systems really aren't in place. If they were, we should know about it through PSAs where they're talking about us. Our government is talking to us about what we do in these situations. Right now, what we need to do is remember to stay calm ourselves. What we need to do is remember to talk to our friends and everyone else and tell them to breathe and let's get through this. Maybe it's not worth it. Maybe the aggression I feel is just a feeling and it's going to go away in 10 seconds if I, leave this situation. Maybe we should be thinking in that manner and not thinking call the police. That's what I'm saying. When you're in it, don't keep it going. That's what it is. Again, we need to be talking about who are our elected officials and how can we speak with them on how we are, who we are voting for, and do they have these same mindsets? Do they think that in a human situation that mental professionals should be there to support that, and then the police or law enforcement comes in and then takes over for those who need that service? And if we all believe that, then that's what we should do. Because right now what happens is you have a domestic violence situation and both people are very angry, and usually by the time of violence, real violence, this has been going on. The police have been to that house many times and the police have not helped. in each instance, right? What they do is they tell people to go to their separate corners. Did anybody break the law that I can take to jail right now? No. Okay, well then are y'all gonna get along? Does somebody need to leave? That's what they do, right? But what we need there is someone to go, with coaching and with some therapy, and start talking about their trauma and how, they have traumatized each other there. How are they going to coexist in that home? What do they need to support them to coexist in a positive way? That's the professional they need at that time, because they're going through a family issue, not a legal issue. So how do we keep families together? Because when it's escalated, the police go, the parents are yelling at each other, they're pulling the kids apart, the police take the children and put them in a foster care system. And it could have all been avoided. Now the children are taken from the family is going through all this trauma on top of the trauma they already had. They now have legal problems, financial problems, when in the very beginning, at that first call for help, when they called the police, if someone would have been there to help them, decide maybe they shouldn't even be together, you know what I mean? But be at a human level, then maybe we'd have never got to the children being ripped from the home.
Wow. You said something previously that I thought was really fascinating that reinforces the point you just made. And it said when something human happens, we have to involve people who are human. And again, feeding the police state, while it does serve a purpose, is not necessarily a human or humane purpose. So in terms of creating that environment where we're actually solving the issue in front of us, and that is that aggression, the community aggression that's being manifested in the home, is there a need for more mental health care professionals at the disposal of the public good?
Oh yes, oh yes. And there's a line called 211 that you can call. That's a problem solving line that's very helpful. They have tools and resources that you can individually use. This is confidential, and they will help you before it becomes a crisis. They'll help you in the crisis, but they are there to support you before. When you start having those issues, you call them and help, and they will support you in helping you. They're not there to get in your business. They don't really keep a folder on you. So what they're doing is just moment by moment assisting you with what problem solving skill or coping measure you need right at that moment. Then there should be, I think that there should be free coaches, right? Coaching should be something, I'm into coaching. So coaching should be something that's always out there. There should be some coaching lines that we can call that maybe our government pays for countywide. And there might be through our county system. That's why if you call 211, they may be able to connect you with that, right? Because they're a resource. There's also the crisis line that you can call, but that's more, people think it's more suicide, but it's crisis. And any crisis that you're in, you can be able to call the crisis line, and they again will give you crisis resources that you can use. And that's still on top of calling the police, before you call the police, right? So there are things, but if the person that you are dealing with gets to a point of where they're not listening, where they have gone, they've gone beyond, right. And you're not able to stop them, there's only, a few things that you can do, especially in the system that we live in today. Again, that's why it's important to have these conversations with your elected officials to make sure they think the same way you think on these topics, so that they use the resources they have to bring in mental health professionals to support their community.
Wow. Yes. Conversations with elected officials. I think it's important that we do understand that our leadership has a say in how we're treating our citizens. And if we want to treat our citizens more humane, so we can get more humane outputs in their interactions, then some of it does come back on the community. Again, community, collaboration, communication. It really falls at the heart of the 3 C's. And Shor, I think the way you were able to articulate some of these, not just tactics, but the expected results of having a more humane interaction, not just with law enforcement, but with professionals who can actually help the human problem, I have to believe will help mitigate some of the violence that we are experiencing now on the backside of the pandemic, where people are starting to express their liberty in destructive ways. With all of that insight you provided, I know there's more. How do people get a hold of you, Shor?
They can contact me at www.communitynow.info. They can reach us at 951-413-6587. They can comment here, subscribe, like, and share this video and spread the information that we are providing.
And there you have it. Once again, our subject matter expert, Shor Denny of Community Now. I'm Glenn W. Hunter. And as you go out into this world that seems to be getting crazier, there's light at the end of the tunnel. But I have to urge and encourage each and every one of you individually, for you and your loved ones' sake, be safe.
Breathe.
And relax. Thank you.